Another day in the NBA, one last slate before Christmas, and this one looks like it is going to be an absolute mess. A lot of guys going to be out today, a lot of games on the slate, a lot of Q tags, a lot of back-to-backs, but we'll still do the work as we always do here on the Splash Play channel. We're going to dig in, compare my projections to one of the industry leaders out there, our friends over at Stokastic. We'll see who the top plays are, who the top value plays are. We'll go game by game, check out the ownership, hop over to Stokastic, try to run a sim on there, see what the top ROI lineups are. I'll do a hand build, and by the end of this video, guys, you will know all the industry's must plays along with my splash plays for the December 23rd NBA slate. Let's get into it. Again, we are dangerously close to Christmas here, so I hope it is a good run up to the holidays for you guys. Hope you got your gifts ready. Hope you got your food ready. Hope you got your butts strapped in for an NBA slate. It's going to be a pain today. But shout out to the chat. Shout out to members only chat day again here. It's been going well, so we're going to keep it rolling right now. But shout out to Robert Griffin III, the most exciting thumbnail ever. Yes, we do have the man of the hour, Tyler Kolek, over my shoulder. He kind of looks like a real life version of Butthead. Or like if you had AI make a version of Butthead that looked actually human. Of course, of Beavis and Butthead fame. I'm not calling him an actual Butthead, but I do think that he looks a lot like the cartoon character of Butthead. But he is going to be chalky today, heading into the home of his people, the Minnesota, is where Tyler Cole will be playing today. So the White people will be very stoked to see him queuing things up, filling in for Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby as well. But let's get to the projections here, and appreciate all you guys watching live and after the fact. But let's get to the work that you guys are looking for. Nikola Jokic, I'm at 67.4 fantasy points, 64.9 for a Stokastic projection. Fields at 9%, I am getting 13. It's not one of those slates where you'll get Jokic in half your lineup. Seems like that's going to be more of a Jalen Johnson thing today, with no Dyson Daniels for the Hawks. But Jokic today, back-to-back, still looks like a solid play as he always does when he's priced under 13K. Facing a Dallas team that's not particularly good either. Still a good total today for Denver with 121 implied points. So really no issue with Jokic besides the fact it's not super easy to get to him yet. And you have a lot of pay-up options. You have so many teams available on the slate. And you have another guy who's going to get a lot of ownership that we're going to talk about next. So Nikola Jokic, still a solid play, but definitely one of those days where I think you want to play him more because the field's not there as much. Jalen Johnson, 52% ownership for the field. I'm getting 86. The number feels pretty high right now, but my projection's at 59.2. Stokastic at 55. Basically, for Jalen Johnson right now, still looking pretty solid at the salary, 9,700, a little bit cheaper than where he's been. Trae Young still minutes limited. Now you add Dyson Daniels to the guys who are out for the Hawks alongside Porzingis. And for Jalen Johnson, the role has been solid with those guys out this year. Jalen Johnson averaging Jesus Christ. He's averaging 1.55 fantasy points this year without having Porzingis or Dyson Daniels on the court. Not a perfect sample size, only 316 possessions, but still 30% usage rate in that time period, 38% assist rate, 59% true shooting. Jalen Johnson is, if you guys have watched the stream, you probably have gathered, and I'm not sure I'm not alone in this, but he's been one of my favorite fantasy plays of the year. A revelation, really. Guy could put up triple doubles and literally one half of play. A guy who's also put up 70 fantasy point days, many times this year. Happy to keep being there. That said, as we always talk about, when you see this much ownership congregating around one player, when we have a slate of this size, I mean, what if Tyrese Maxey goes off? What if Denny Avdia goes off? What if Cade Cunningham goes off? You have to ask those questions. But I do think Jalen Johnson looks good here. Just taking one more guy out of the equation for Atlanta and having Trae Young and clearly a subservient role for Jalen Johnson, I think are good things, as well as the Hawks total today. 129 implied points going against Chicago. The game itself, 253.5, very high total there. A lot of factors are getting Jalen Johnson, but definitely other Hawks could play better, or to somebody else who is a high-paid option salary-wise tonight can go off instead of Jalen Johnson, and the field will be with a guy who probably will play pretty good no matter what. Maybe doesn't break the slate. Austin Reeves, we have no Luka Doncic today, so no Rui Hachimura as well, which helps out the usage a little bit. Reeves, I believe, is still a Q tag. Let's pull up the injury report real fast. And again, right now, as of 2:08 p.m. on the East Coast, bunch of teams still have not submitted on the back-to-back. Maybe a few more came in. Well, we're not going to be able to suss this all out right now. But Reeves, just control F him, not Raves. Yeah, Reeves is still a Q tag with a calf strain. So assuming that Austin Reeves plays, he does look great. If Reeves is out, it's going to make LeBron look a lot better. But as it is right now, a lot of my ownership, Jalen Johnson in 86% of my top 150 lineups, Austin Reeves in 43% of my top 150 lineups. These are my two pay-up options I'm getting the most right now. So Reeves, I think a good play right now without Luka Doncic so far this year. I'm going to think if I should put up NBA Wowie on the screen or not, but we won't do that yet. Reeves without Luka, 560 possessions this year. He's averaging 1.6 fantasy points per minute, 36% usage and a 40% assist rate. Some of that court time is without LeBron, so it's important to keep that in mind here. Actually, a good amount of that court time is without LeBron. And if LeBron is out there, he's going to take good amount of that usage that Luka leaves behind, but it's still going to be a pretty good opportunity. Those guys will play separately for decent chunks of the game as well. Austin Reeves has just been a monster when you take off one of LeBron, one of Luka. So you're taking Luka off tonight. I think Austin Reeves at 8,900, a good play in my projection, much higher than Stokastic's for what it's worth. 52.4 for me, Stokastic at 46. Anthony Edwards, not a priority play for me, but he does look a little bit high for me. 51 fantasy point projections. Stokastic has been at 43.8. I think the issue is no Jaden McDaniels. You know what the issue is? I think is that Jaden McDaniels is still in Stokastic's data set. But I took him out of the player pool because he got ruled out. So this is actually an inflated projection. I would throw this one out. But Anthony Edwards will look like a decent play. Gains a little bit of an uptick in rates from not having Jaden McDaniels out there. But not enough that I think he'll be a top 4 projected play here. That's my bad. It was a lot of shit to edit before the show. And Edwards, unfortunately, I did not catch that he's a little bit over projected right now. Even with him getting a 51-point projection, I still only got him in 8% of my lineup. So don't think he'll be a priority play no matter what. Kevin Porter Jr., though. So this was a thing I had to work with on my back. I was such a stupid. This is the thing I had to work with on my back end was a sentence I was going to say, which is a real pause to say out loud when you catch yourself saying it. For Kevin Porter Jr., though, the big thing is that he's been really good without Giannis. The rates don't really take a big uptick, though, compared to how he plays normally. So every slate, I get a little too much Ryan Rollins. Every other slate, I get not enough Kevin Porter Jr., so I tried to give Kevin Porter Jr. like 30% usage and a 50% assist rate, just so I got him in a projection that I feel good about, where I'll get him at least with the field, if not above it. But Porter Jr. every week, I'm thinking football, every game rather, is playing so much more than Ryan Rollins. Let's just quickly go to the last popcorn machine here. So Porter Jr. gets to 37 minutes last game. Ryan Rollins played off the bench here, played only 23. Game before that, oops, sorry, I should not have X'd out, but we'll get to it in a sec. All right, share this. Game before that for Milwaukee. Rollins off the bench again, gets to 28 minutes. Kevin Porter Jr. as a starter plays 40 minutes. So two things in hand here. Number one, I think Ryan Rollins' minutes not good enough now. He's really the biggest usage kind of suck away from what we've got with Kevin Porter Jr. lately. Number two is that, Kevin Porter Jr. himself getting 33 minutes from Stokastic. If the game's competitive, he's playing like 37 and to 40. We just saw in those last two games, pretty reliably. So I want to make sure to get Kevin Porter Jr. more for those two reasons. Yes, he's coming off the bench now, which we just saw. Point being is like the role's not the same for Kevin Porter Jr. The role's not the same for Ryan Rollins. He's now shunted down a little bit more. But also Porter Jr. is just playing more minutes, I think, that he's going to get in a median projection of minutes from Stokastic. So got him at 20% right now. Fields at 13. Don't think Porter Jr. is like a lock button play, but if he's not going to be priced at like, I'm going to say like 10K. No, 10K is a little bit much. If he's not priced at 9K, 9,500. I think you want to get some exposure every slate because like he could put up 70. Like he's really a triple-double threat every slate as well. So Porter Jr. is one of those things today where I never really tweak rates on like a micro level for guys unless I feel like something's off. I'm just not getting enough Porter Jr. on slates, and I should. So that's why I did go that way today. Donovan Mitchell, still no Evan Mobley here. Projection looks pretty decent at 47.4. $9,600 salary, though, makes that not that great of a value. As a result, getting Donovan Mitchell at 1.3% of my lineups, Fields at 7. Was expected that Darius Garland would play. He was downgraded to questionable, though, part of his injury management. He had said to the media, though, yesterday that he thought he would go. So for Donovan Mitchell, the big issue is that right now we have Garland in the data set. If Garland is out, though, Mitchell will look infinitely better. You'll also have Craig Porter Jr., Tyrese Proctor looking a little bit better as well. But Donovan Mitchell at 9,600 right now, not an option. If Garland is out, though, he'll become much more of an option. We got KPJ, the king of ass teams. That's true. Mason Plumlee with the hate crime of the year, hurting his groin. What did Plumlee do? I missed that. I know that the hate crime that he caused to me was making Diabate look like a much better play than he should have been coming off the bench, but it's neither here nor there for how that's yesterday's slate. We move on. Tyrese Maxey, 1% for the field. I'm at 0. Not getting him today. We have Embiid in. We have Paul George in. If we get some of those guys out, it would look different. But as it is right now, Embiid is probable. Quentin Grimes is questionable, though. Edgecombe questionable. Barlow questionable. And you still have Oubre and Watford out. So if you get those Q tags out, I think Maxey will look like a better play as it is right now. Still a good projection at 47.4. Exact same projection as Donovan Mitchell, but 9,900 is not an option that I'm dying to get to normally. Oh, you hated him. Got it. So that's hate crime usually means that he would have attacked a black guy. I think would be the implication. It's like, I missed that part of the game. I know he hurt his groin, but yes, a hate crime on your portfolio. Sure. I just don't know that we would call your portfolio the victim of a hate crime. SGA, $10,800. Not coming up for me here. Chet Holmgren is in the data set right now. Hartenstein's in the data set right now. We don't know the Thunder's injury report yet. If those guys are out, it'll look different, but SGA is still not super playable. Julius Randle, we got 7% ownership right now. It's not correct though. Again, he's getting a bit too much of a projection from having Jaden McDaniels taken out. So let's skip past this. Randle, not that good of a play. But McDaniels being out does make him technically more playable. Same thing for Anthony Edwards. Denny Avdia, late slate play here, I believe. Right? I believe Portland's one of the late games. Yeah, Portland, 10 o'clock game, so not a main slate play. But Avdia, still no Drew, still no Scoot Henderson. Might get Jeremy Grant out again. That makes Avdia look a little bit better, though Jeremy Grant is currently in the data set. Cade Cunningham, also late slate going against Sacramento. He looks like an okay option, but he's not in the main slate, so he would not be a pivot point as some of the other guys we talked about. There we go. You attack your lineup. Okay, understood. Let's sort by value here, guys. And before we get into the stage of things, of course, you guys know the deal. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It goes a long way here. When you are on YouTube, it's really important to get impressions. The way that I get impressions is you guys hitting the like button. Because basically when you hit that like button, it shows the video to people that are a lot like you, looking for similar things. Not the creepy stuff. Just the DFS stuff. But of course, I'm here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. every day. This week, I'll be doing the Christmas video. My goal is to do that tomorrow. Probably not at 2 p.m. because I have to be watching Luka at certain parts of the day. But we'll have a video up tomorrow for the Christmas Day slate. We'll also have an NFL video for the Christmas Day slate for there. Friday, I'll be back on the grind as well. So the work continues on here. Join along if you want to see my projections, my efforts here every day, trying to get better at NBA DFS and get some more winnings after having historically some. I would like to get more. And of course, check out Stokastic too, 15% off, link down below. All the cheap packages, all the expensive packages. It's all 15% off with that promo code SPLASH. If you go enter that when you go join over there, check out all the options. If you click the link down below, you can also just get whatever data you want. Cheap stuff, again, expensive stuff. Worth your time, of course, to get Stokastic. Idiot-proof version of DFS is what I would say for Stokastic, where you get the best lineups and their data no matter what. And it's a lot less work, I think, than stuff like, using the solver, using an optimizer, using SaberSim. So check it out, Stokastic, link down below, or use the promo code SPLASHING to 15% off. And last but not least, join the channel here. If you want to support the show, it is $5 to join. Join through desktop, though, or your laptop, not through iOS, because you do get charged more on there. But if you join, you get access to the Discord. If you want my data, of course, the matchup sheet that I show you guys, it's $25 a month on the Squirt Squad tier. If you are an advanced user and you can use my projections in a CSV or a sim, join the VIP tier and you get that updated throughout the night as well. All right, there we go. We have plugged. I mean, it shows the video to more horny middle-aged white guys. If they like the NBA, yes, then it would. But theoretically, that is the whole point of YouTube. And really, that's very important. If YouTube's going to keep competing with Netflix, this is my shot to get Netflix views here. Is you guys hit the like button. All right, your top value plays. So this one is going to change potentially. KJ Simpson is a top value in Stokastic data right now because they have LaMelo Ball not in the data set. LaMelo, I think, is going to play, though. He's not in the first injury report for Charlotte. It's a back-to-back for them, though. Let me just make sure that I'm correct about this. Before the show, he was not in the injury report. And yeah, he's not on it right now. Josh Green, Kalkbrenner, Plumlee out, Sexton. Sexton's now probable too, so that's going to change because I believe he was doubtful before. Grant Williams out. Either way, it's going to look different now. So KJ Simpson, I think we're taking off the board because Sexton alone in would be enough to hurt KJ Simpson. Ball and Sexton in means Simpson is not a play even a little bit. So Tyler Kolek, 95% of lineups. Fields at 45%. If you have followed the stream the last couple weeks, you've probably gotten Tyler Kolek a little bit, catching it like a venereal disease through the screen, because I've been all over Tyler Kolek lately. No Jalen Brunson today means that Kolek's probably going to get the start. Kolek has been a pretty good producer overall with Jalen Brunson off the court. Kolek with Brunson and OG Anunoby off. It's only been about 197 possessions, but 23% usage rate, 33% assist rate, 0.9 fantasy points per minute. He's been a little bit better in some of the smaller sample sizes where you actually just have Brunson off the court. For Tyler Kolek, he should get usage, should be the primary ball handler for this team. Obviously, guys like Bridges, Towns will get their own shots a good amount as well. But Kolek's been good, and he's not really been priced up for being good lately. So $3,800 salary, assume that he's a starter here. I have him a 30.6 projection. Stokastic has him at 27. So my projection is higher, but he is in basically every line but mine. He's not a 3K minimum salary play, but about as close to that as what we have in the slate. So Kolek will be one of those guys. Absolute core play, splash play, whatever you want to call it today. KJ Simpson will not look as good because of having LaMelo and Sexton in. So let's take him off the board. He was going to be a very chalky play, 61% for the field. I was getting the same amount. Now things will move around. Jalen Johnson looks like a top value despite being 9,700. Of course, my projection is a little bit higher than Stokastic's. I'm at 59.2. They have him at 55. But Jalen Johnson making a ton of lineups. So right away, you would assume the majority of my lineups today include Kolek and Jalen Johnson as the first two plays in. For Kolek, they're not real pivot points for him. A guy who's going to start and should produce pretty well in whatever court time that he has. For Jalen Johnson, you have a ton of pay-up options on the slate. It's a pretty big slate. So for Jalen Johnson, though, he does look like a great value despite being pretty expensive. And I would say, too, people really loved AD on yesterday's slate. I think that Jalen Johnson kind of looks like an AD on this slate where he's a little bit underpriced. I would say, to me, more underpriced than Anthony Davis was yesterday. But, he'll be really owned. And if anybody else spikes who is a pay-up option, you might not have Jalen Johnson in that lineup. Isaiah Collier, with KJ Simpson not being good value, Collier probably comes up a little bit more. Fields at 25%. I'm at a slightly higher version of 25%. Collier, not a very exciting play, but Lowry, Markkanen currently not in the data set. Yusuf Nurkic not in the data set because we're on a back-to-back for those guys. So Stokastic assumes they're not in. Collier won't really directly gain minutes from those guys not playing, but he will gain more points, more opportunities. So for Collier at 4,300, a decent value. In my opinion, though, even though the projections are close in Stokastic data, and actually Stokastic favors Collier over Kolek, I think Kolek is an infinitely better play. To me, Kolek is like an absolute must-have play. Collier is like an okay value play who will get a good amount of minutes, but let's see what happens with Markkanen and Nurkic being in or out too. Brook Lopez, late slate play, decent value at 3,300. That's all we have to say about that. Austin Reeves, if we do get him in, Luka Doncic already ruled out. Reeves looks pretty good to me. Again, my projections have favored Reeves a lot in these spots this year, but I think it is justified with how he's played. Right now, getting 43% Reeves, Fields at 11, and despite him being 8,900, looks like another core play alongside Jalen Johnson and Kolek. I think Cat is similar to AD yesterday. I don't have that in my data looking like that, but sure. Rudy Gobert, 4% for me. Fields at 1%. Not a priority play. And again, he won't be as well projected when we get Jaden McDaniels right or his absence right in the data. So let's skip over Gobert. Khalil Ware has been a guy I've played a lot lately with Jovic out. Just one of the layers that, one of the mechanisms that loses him minutes. Now not an option that's going to take him off the court. Khalil Ware has been really good overall. He also does gain a little bit rate-wise from having Hero out. Overall, averaging 1.36 fantasy points per minute this year with Jovic and Hero off the court. And that's a pretty good sample size as well of 640 possessions. So Ware has been a guy I've gotten a lot on slates lately. He has not failed me. So I'm happy to go back there with 41% exposure. Field at 14. Ware, to me, too cheap at 5,900, even if you don't want to be with that much ownership. Con Knipple, getting a rate uptick here for not having LaMelo in the data set or Sexton. Those guys now seem like they're going to play. So Knipple's going to come down a little bit. Still always a tournament option, but 6,800 with the team at full strength. Not sure I want to be there today. Personally, Trey Mann also not going to look as good. Taylor Hendricks will look okay as long as we do have Markkanen and Nurkic out. Kevin Porter Jr. looking like a good value despite being 8,700. Really not great values in the slate is what you should be surmising here as we scroll down a little bit further to make up for the guys from Minnesota that are not properly projected. But basically here, your value play on the slate is Tyler Kolek and to a lesser extent Isaiah Collier. That's about it right now. We're going to go game by game here, guys. Before we do that, again, one more ask, hit that like button and subscribe. Very important this time of year. Very important Christmas season because like I'm just going to make up lies. At Christmas time, Santa really looks closely at how many likes you're getting on YouTube. No, but please help me out. Hit the like button, subscribe. Of course, check out Stokastic's data. It will update correctly as the day goes on. There's sim stuff too. Broke yesterday while we were on stream. It's back up and functional. It was actually a thing that I just had to log in differently, which, but whatever. It's back up and running today, so we'll have them in a moment here. But check out Stokastic yourself. Really important to get your hands on the sim, see the data yourself. I can only give you so much here on stream, but getting into process and using tools also that, again, are like pretty foolproof, pretty easy to get in there, get good lineups. You'll do a lot better for yourself if you join Stokastic with that promo code SPLASH and get the 15% off. And again, join the channel here. You want to see this very screen I'm showing you, minus the Stokastic data points and the sim exposure. You get it for yourself by joining the Squirt Squad tier down below. But somebody did ask me that yesterday, and I do apologize if you guys are joining for my sim exposure. I just don't update the sim exposure throughout the night because it's another step. And in NBA, you sometimes, especially when I'm like doing Lucas bath time and shit, I'll have like 5 minutes to update all the data and lineups and get the data out to the members, also to get my own lineups in. So putting sim exposure in would not be possible for me. But I appreciate anybody who did want to sign up and get that. It's not a thing that I can offer right now or ever. Brooklyn, 105 implied points. I just wanted to say that stuff up top because I know people see the stuff here, and I don't want to. This is the version you actually see when you sign up. Just FYI. All right. Brooklyn, 105 implied points. Philadelphia, 114.5. And yes, hit the like. It's fucking Christmas. That's right. Don't be a wet bandit. Don't go trying to break into houses and kill children because you need to steal the stuff. Go in here. We got Brooklyn, 105 implied points here. Michael Porter Jr., the only one that's playable to me. Of course, I always get a little bit of Michael Porter Jr. on slates. That's the case again with 5%. My projection at 43.7. Stokastic at 41.1. MPJ's been great this year. He deserves to go to a championship caliber team and be the number 3 option, I think, now with how he's played. Great shooting at 62% true shooting on the year, 1.3 fantasy points per minute, some assists, some rebounding. I'm not like an MPJ guy, like in terms of the personality, especially not my kind of dude. But man, he's been fucking awesome. So play him some slates. Maybe not today, but in general, play him a little bit. Philadelphia, are they all sick? Syphilis 76ers. A lot of Q tags here, Grimes and Edgecombe. Does seem like Embiid, Paul George, Maxey, all in though. Nobody coming up. I think we need somebody to get ruled out here, at least one, if not two. If you get Grimes and Edgecombe out, I think Paul George will look a lot better. Maxey and Embiid will also look incrementally better. But as it is right now, nobody coming up for me here. If you want to buy into the Joel Embiid renaissance at 8K, I would get it. I'm not going to juke his rates today personally because I think there are enough plays that I actually like. But Embiid's been playing more like himself lately as well. So, if you want to get to Embiid, Field's not really there today. It's probably a good day to get to Embiid, honestly, with that being the case. Actually looking at it, if he's going to be 5% owned, I'll take the shot that Embiid's back to like 60, 70 fantasy point days at 10% owned. I don't think that's a bad move. Oh, Barlow's a Q-Tag too. All right. So yeah, so Barlow, I mean, you're getting a little shorthanded at that point, but you're probably just getting like more Jabari Walker minutes or something if you get Barlow out. But really, we just don't know enough right now with all the Q tags. Obviously, with this being the first game I'm talking about, this is also the first game on the slate. And for what it's worth, there are 2 games that start at 7 o'clock today. This one and the Washington-Charlotte one. The other ones we have to wait for. So it's a late swappy kind of slate if we do get guys ruled out as the night goes on. Washington, 116 implied points. Charlotte, 122.5. Nothing here looks that good on Washington side. Keyshawn George, always kind of in play for me at 6,600. But I got 8%. Fields at 5.5. Sarr not coming up for me today. Haven't really been playing him too much lately since he got back in the lineup. The minutes are not quite as high. McCollum not coming up for me when we have everybody else in. Washington, to me, it's a good matchup on paper going against Charlotte, but I just don't see it here. Charlotte on their side looked a lot better conceptually with Sexton and LaMelo Ball out in the data set. With those guys in, this is all going to be completely different. Kalkbrenner also back in today, so he will not look good. Neither will Diabate. I think Kalkbrenner and Diabate is still playable. Tournament upside for Knipple, Brandon Miller, possibly. But with LaMelo in, I don't think you're going to want to play Charlotte nearly as much as this ownership, so I think we should just move past it. But Simpson, not the play that he looked like this morning when people assumed that LaMelo and Sexton would both be out. Milwaukee, 110 implied points. Indiana, 108.5 implied points. KPJ again gave him a pretty decent rate boost, but on the year, he's averaging 27% usage, just shy of a 40% assist rate, 1.3 fantasy points a minute today. with the boost I gave him. I have him at 1.45. Again, that's really something I just wanted to make sure I'm getting enough KPJ. If you're playing with my data at home, maybe knock him down a little bit more so you don't have to be as aggressive. Really, the price at 8,700 seems more fair than it's been lately, but he should be like a 9K player at this point at a minimum, and he's not yet. Ryan Rollins playing off the bench, still projected to play about 27 minutes. Not looking great. If he's a little bit cheaper, I think he'll be back in play soon. As it is, though, KPJ is really the one dominating the ball. Bobby Portis playing more minutes as well with the starter group, at least some amount of the time for Milwaukee. 24% ownership for the field. I'm getting 16. My projection, again, flowing a little bit more towards Porter Jr., a little bit more towards Ryan Rollins. The field's getting more for Portis, with Stokastic projecting him about 3.5 points higher than what I have him at. But I do think for Portis Jr. here, not a bad play, but not a priority play for me, like it seems like he might be for Stokastic today. Kuzma, but 11% field to 10. Not a very exciting play. I'd rather play Porter Jr. if I had to Portis rather if I had to pick, and certainly Porter Jr. as well. But Kuzma's been okay on the year. 0.92 fantasy points a minute. He's not shooting dead awfully like he did last year, so not a terrible option. Indiana, McConnell is now a Q tag as opposed to out, so that's going to move things down a little bit for Nembhard and Siakam. Indiana doesn't look that great on paper today, but Milwaukee is not a good team either, playing pretty bad defense, giving up 117.3 points per 100 possessions. So you can make the case that this game environment's a little bit underowned. Like, we know Indiana's not great. We know Milwaukee's not great. The total's also not too awesome between these two teams, but I think they're in play a little bit more than the ownership is what the field's giving them, but it's a big slate, so you get it. New Orleans, 118 implied points. Cleveland, 126.5. New Orleans playing kind of feisty lately. Zion really gave a nice quote about Derek Queen, saying that he's happy to have him on the team, thinks he's going to be a great player, and like he's feeling kind of, excited about his prospects. Does that mean that Zion, these guys don't get traded at some point? Probably not, but they are playing really competitively lately. That said, they are all priced kind of where they should be. Jordan Poole's a Q tag. We always know that these guys get ruled out on a back-to-back as well. So, if for New Orleans here, it's back-to-back for New Orleans, right? I said that out of pocket. I'm pretty sure they played yesterday, right? Yeah, they played Dallas yesterday. If for New Orleans here on a back-to-back, if somebody gets ruled out, it'll look better. As it is, they're kind of priced how they should be. Zion playing well off the bench as well, but I think entirely unplayable at this point at 7,500. Cleveland on their side, Garland in makes nobody look that great here. If Garland is out, Donovan Mitchell's going to look much more playable at 9,600. Jarrett Allen will also look a little bit better. Jalen Tyson probably better as well. Lonzo got ruled out before the show, so him being out opens up Porter Jr. and Proctor. The stuff wasn't updated before the show, and I just didn't have time to get to it because there are too many things to update at once here with all the games going on. To prepare for, rather, is a better way to say that. But this will look a little bit different when we get to lock here. I'll also be on Stokastic's deeper dive today, so you'll have more nuanced takes from me when we get there. But right now, to me, Cleveland not playable, but with Garland out, Mitchell would look a lot better. And I guess, right now, if Garland does play, he would be a decent play at 8K. As I mentioned, he's been due to shoot better. He did shoot really well last night. He's now up to 53% true shooting. He's got to climb at least another 5 percentage points to get to league average, and I think he's a better than average player. So my guess he'll get to 60 at some point this year. Garland due to keep shooting hot at 8K if he plays today. I think he is still an option. Toronto, 111 implied points. Miami, 116.5. We have no RJ Barrett still, no Jakob Poeltl for Toronto. Mamukelashvili should start here, but does not look like a great value now at 5,500. My projection's at 29. Stokastic is at 30.2 for him. As a result, you're getting about 15% of your top 150 lineups, which is where I'm at as well. Ingram, not getting much of, but Barnes and Ingram project for about 10% ownership. They're fine tournament options. Pace up spot against Miami, though. Miami does play pretty competent defense, only giving up 112.6 points per 100 would be towards the better part of the league. Yeah, this kind of game environment, I think nice tournament options. I think you would want to get more ownership than I got here for Barnes and Ingram. Like, I don't think you want to be totally blanked out to them, but they don't look like priority plays for me. If I were going to play guys quickly, Mamukelashvili, Shed, Murray, Boyles look a little bit better value-wise. Though obviously the ceiling a lot lower for those last two. Miami, 116.5 implied points here. No Hero again. As I mentioned, no Jovic, no Pele Larson. Khalil Ware is the only one that matters to me here, 41%. Fields at 14. As I've mentioned, Ware has been great in general with Jovic off the court, and that's been a little secret sauce in my lineups lately that's been really helpful, finishing pretty well a couple times. I've liked Ware a lot lately. He's been a better producer this year overall than Bam Adebayo, than Norm Powell. He's putting up 1.27 fantasy points a minute. And like I mentioned, when you take off Jovic, you take off Hero, those rates get even higher for Ware, about 1.35 fantasy points a minute. So I would say keep playing Ware until he gets to like, I mean, 7K. If Bam's 7,700, Ware should be 7K. Honestly, even higher. But yeah, besides that, I think not a lot to love here. Hawkins, the field's at 15%. I got 8. Wiggins, 10% for the field. I got 4. Davion, 5% for the field. I got 4. I think it's just mostly Ware for me. Jalen Williams of OKC out. Is that correct? Well, look, things are going to move here. I can't be ahead of everything, but for anybody, any high usage player that gets ruled out between now and when the Jalen with a Y, you're saying. Okay, so the one that doesn't matter, the one that's been out. Okay, so nothing new there. And Hartenstein not in the injury report. Caruso not in the injury report. AJ Mitchell out. Usman Jang out. Yeah, so you're getting mostly full strength Thunder today. But that's that. But Chicago, 124.5. Again, really high total in this game, with Atlanta also getting 129 implied points. Chicago side, a lot of ownership going to Vucevic. I'm not really there, getting 16%. The field's at 30. But Vucevic at 6,300, definitely a little bit too cheap. When the game does get away from the Bulls in the fourth quarter, you do see Vucevic often sitting in that time period. And that's how he really does crater. But in the spot, they're only a 4.5-point dog on the road. I don't think Vucevic to me feels like a 1/3 of the lineups play. I'd rather have Ware at a little bit cheaper. But certainly, if you want to be more with what Stokastic has here, a little bit less Ware, a little bit more Vucevic, seems like a decent move. Fields at 30% ownership on Vucevic. Kobe White still has a pretty good role, but definitely coming down to earth relative to Giddey. Giddey holding steady at 1.34 fantasy points a minute. Kobe White now with the sample size growing down to 1.1 fantasy points a minute. But Kobe White cheaper at 6,700. Giddey's at 91. So Kobe White came up in 5% of my lineups. Giddey came up in none. But the field's at 5% Giddey and 10% Kobe White. Atlanta, we talked about Jalen Johnson. Atlanta, borderline shorthanded at this point, but you have no Dyson Daniels now with no Porzingis as well. Trae Young, Q-Tag. Well, I guess he's going to play, but right, he's probable, not Q. Actually, no, he's not even on the injury report. My bad. Yeah, no Q-Tag on him. That was a misspeak by me. But minutes limit is what I was thinking. 27.6 minutes the projection. He also has not been that great on the year. You should not play Trae Young at that 9K salary unless something really weird happens this game. I don't think it's even worth trying to get leverage on Jalen Johnson like we sometimes talk about, where the usage flows somewhere else, Jalen Johnson fails. I just don't think that's the role Trae Young has right now. He's averaging 1.2 fantasy points a minute on the year compared to 1.4 for Jalen Johnson. And with Dyson Daniels out, it gave him a rate boost. Still only have him at 1.4 fantasy points a minute. It's not enough to pay off that salary. So I don't think Trae Young's an option. Okongwu, the field's at 12%. I'm getting a little bit at 5. Alexander Walker, I'm getting 12%. The field's at 7. Reza Shea getting 12%. The field's at 9. It's a little bit of an uptick here for the secondary Hawks pieces that are cheap because of not having Dyson Daniels in today. Denver, 121 implied points. Dallas, 114.5 implied points. Nikola Jokic, we're above the field on here with so many people, and me in particular, looking to pay for Jalen Johnson, looking to pay for Austin Reeves. That means less Jokic, but Jokic on the slates where nobody's playing him, that's where if he goes for 80, like you are on a very more, much more unique path. The other day he gave you like 65. That was okay. It didn't hurt you. But it ended up being a thing where you could have won the tournament by not playing him. So today, without the ownership there, I think he looks like a good play. Jamal Murray, also decent. Peyton Watson, also decent. I play these guys pretty much every slate. The price tags don't move. If they hit their tournament ceiling, they can win you a tournament. And if they play okay, they usually don't kill you. Cam Johnson, I'm still not on the renaissance with. I think we need somebody else out for me to want to get there. But Cam Johnson playing better, still shooting decently at 61% true shooting. He just needs to shoot more, but I think he put up like 33 fantasy points yesterday. He's a fine play. He's just not probably going to give you 40 at any point. Reeves officially in. Okay, good to know. Dallas, 114.5 implied points. Anthony Davis, not quite as good of a play to me or the field today. 8% for the field. I'm at 3%. But, Anthony Davis, we saw him play really well yesterday. If he can do it on a back-to-back, he might be a little bit too cheap at 9,400. Cooper Flagg, if you got a surprise AD getting ruled out situation, Flagg would look a lot more playable at 7,400. As it is, I don't really see him being a major option. Brandon Williams, a value point guard, got him yesterday. It didn't go super well. But he is a value option on the slate where right now we don't have a ton of value besides Kolek and I guess theoretically Isaiah Collier. But Dallas, not super great in my opinion right now. New York, 111 implied points. Minnesota, 118.5 implied. So Cat at 8,500, definitely a little bit too cheap for having no Jalen Brunson. Surprised only gets 16%, but the field's only at 20, so not a big stand there. Going back to Parker's point earlier, I would agree that Karl-Anthony Towns also gives off some AD yesterday vibes where he is slightly too cheap, and he's cheaper than what AD was. It's a tough spot against Minnesota, but revenge game for Towns. If you want to carry that, you can. I think being with the field on Towns seems like a good move. I can't imagine I'll go crazy on him though. Josh Hart, 9%, Fields 12. He looks a little bit better with no Brunson, but really not a big enough uptick to get into lineups at 7,300. But I think not a bad play here. You can see I have Towns at a 5.3x value, Hart at 5.4x. I think part of the issue too is that because so many of my lineups are paying up, you have 4 Reeves for Jalen Johnson, I'm getting less of these guys. They're still really good plays, and certainly you can make the case to just like fade the chalky 5x value guys and play guys like Towns and Hart more. Playing in Minnesota makes it more interesting. I think this sounds like a lot of personal bias. I mean, look, it's certainly possible that he tries harder here, but at a certain point, you do move on from the, whatever revenge you have in your heart if you're a player. I think the bigger reason to like Towns is that you have no Brunson and Anunoby out, and that should help him out a good amount. But rate-wise for him with those guys off the court this year, Towns has put up 1.5 fantasy points a minute. So, that's the reason I think to really like Towns here. Being back in Minnesota, I think just an incidental, personally. Bridges, though, on a slate where you do have some Towns ownership, some Hart ownership. Bridges maybe could be a lever against that. I'm not really getting him either. Kolek is the option I think you desperately need on the slate. $3,800 value play. We just have nobody like him on the slate. He has been producing well on the year, 0.9 fantasy points a minute, accounting for Brunson and also Anunoby being out. I would have him out at 1.1 fantasy points a minute today. So I'm a big Tyler Kolek fan, besides, the fact that actually, I'm a big Beavis and Butthead fan too. So fan of him looking like Butthead as well. But I think that for Tyler Kolek here, as long as he's starting, he's just been a good producer whenever he gets minutes. And the Minnesota matchup, I just don't think they're going to sell it to stop Tyler Kolek. And again, there's a lot of white people in Minnesota, so he'll be really primed. He'll be like, I'm with my tribe, is what he'll say. It's like if we have like the Jungle Book we have is like one of the books that Luca reads. And it's like in some point in the Jungle Book, they're like, yeah, this fucking leopard is like, hey, he's just got to go with people. That's like Tyler Kolek being with Minnesota. It's like, oh, it's like he's surrounded by people. He's not here in the jungle with all of us. Minnesota, 118.5 implied points. Nothing looks that good here. And it won't look as good when I update correctly for Jaden McDaniels being out. But McDaniels being out does help a little bit. Not as much as my data has it right now. I feel like DiVincenzo, probably the guy that benefits the most, just having that secondary usage open up a little bit. But even then, I don't think he'll be like super playable. OKC, 119.5 implied points. San Antonio, 114 implied points here. Getting AJ Mitchell out will make Caruso look a little bit better. Wiggins Q tag, if he's out, it'll make Isaiah Joe get some more minutes as well. The key thing here is that you have your top guys for OKC all in, your highest usage players. So I don't really think it's a big boost to lose AJ Mitchell, but it will make like Cason Wallace look better, Caruso look better. It'll make SGA look fractionally better. You're losing like a high usage backup guard, but you're losing just the backup guard fundamentally. Yeah, I did grow up in the South Bronx. I am a minority, even though, I present very whitely. So no, I was not going to make a racist joke about it. But it is like, it's really funny though, where they're just like, oh, we've raised this child for 13 years, but it's like, he needs to go with these humans now. And he ends up seeing at the end of the book, it's like, there's a villager girl that's like getting water by the lake. And he's like, well, he's got to go now. And that's what makes Mowgli leave, is like, he sees a hot villager girl. It's a real regressive book. So that's what comes to mind for you, Tyler Kolek. Now he's in Minnesota. He's going to see a girl with a big pail of water, and he's going to go running over to her. San Antonio, let's save time here. I got nothing. There's a lot of games in the slate, and this is one of them. But nobody looks that good. Wemby with the minutes limit fucks it up for everybody else enough. It's not good for him either. Not the spot. Lakers, 111 implied points. Phoenix, 116.5 implied points. Reeves looks fantastic to me here. You can make the case, though, I should give some of his projection to LeBron. LeBron has produced 1.6 fantasy points a minute in a very small sample size this year without Luka out there. Let me get the exact numbers here. Yeah, but a 31% usage rate in about 150 possessions, so nowhere near the 1,000 we're looking for, but it is still something. 47% assist rate in that time period with only 54% true shooting. He's put up 1.6 fantasy points a minute. The big issue for LeBron this series is not really grabbing rebounds, even with Luke off the court. He's only had a 9% rebound rate in that small sample size. So I think that's really the big inhibitor for him. You can see here I only have projected for 5 rebounds today. It's just not enough to get there when he's also not scoring that much. But that said, 21 real life points feels a little bit low. So I think you can make the case to just give LeBron 44 fantasy points, see if he makes any lineups for you. Because, like, I think there's a world where if Reeves doesn't get to this projection, it just means that LeBron looks a little bit better. So I take about Sam Merrill. No, don't play him. That would be my take about him. If you get Garland out, maybe, but I don't think he's really that much of a compelling play. Phoenix 116.5 implied points here. We have doubtful Grayson Allen. Still no Jalen Green, but nobody looks good on this side, really. Dylan Brooks, always a little bit better projected for me than the field. He's honestly come through enough times that I don't mind playing Dylan Brooks when he comes up, but only getting him at 7%. The field's at 3. Gillespie, I'm at 5%. Field's at 9. Goodwin, I'm at 5%. The field's at 4.5. No big stands here, but if you get a piece or two, it's fine. And then I believe, no, this is our last one. Yeah, it's our last main slate game. So Memphis on a back-to-back here. Stokastic has Vince Williams still out. Clark is definitely out. I should have taken him off the sheet. John Morant, they have is out. I don't know if he's going to be out. Really don't know enough about Memphis today yet. That said, if all these guys are playing as expected by Stokastic, none of them look good, and they don't matter on the slate. But they are playing Utah, who is a bad team. So if theoretically Jaren Jackson reverts to his old self, which I would take the stab on more if he got John Morant out, he could do it really well versus Utah. But nobody, like, I don't get these price tags. They're not well projected enough at their salaries. Don't think you want much out of Memphis on paper. Utah, Stokastic has Nurkic and Markkanen out for the back-to-back. As a result, you're getting Filipowski at 25% for the field. I'm at 21. Collier, 25% for the field. I'm also at 25. Sensabaugh, 7% for the field. I'm getting 17. Keontae George gets a rate uptick with no Markkanen as well. I've got him at 6%. The field's at 7. I do like Keontae George a little bit more than this ownership. When Markkanen's out, he's a really good producer. But at this point for Utah, I don't know. I mean, it hasn't been confirmed yet, right? Since we've been on the air. Let me just take one look here because the NBA injury report does now update every 15 minutes. Don't think we've got a Utah report yet, right? Yeah, still no Utah report yet. If you get Markkanen and Nurkic out, this stuff all looks good. This ownership all looks good. If Markkanen and Nurkic are in, I think Markkanen's the only play I would take a shot at, really, besides Collier still being an okay value. But we need to know more about this game, and it's the last game of the slate, unfortunately, so we won't know, well, we don't have to know anything, really, until 9 o'clock tonight. So it actually starts the same time as Lakers-Phoenix, so you'll have some swappability if it did drag out. But obviously, you'll get the injury report at some point in the next few hours. Shout out Supavash here joining. Appreciate you being a member here. Of course, if you guys want to be part of the live chats, got to be a member right now. And of course, if you want to support the show as well, join down below. Squirt Squad's here will get you this very data that I'm showing you on screen, presented like this. But of course, join and you'll find out for yourself here. Hop to the Discord or check the YouTube community tab if you want to see the stuff that you get access to when you become a member. All right, so that's the game by game here. Real fast, I'll scroll through the late games if you want to see it. Again, Suggs and De Silva out in the data set. Banchero looks okay. Bane looks okay. They're going to be very chalky on the late slate, it looks like. Portland will look a lot better if Jeremy Grant's out again, but Avi and Sharp going to pick up ownership. It's a late slate, that's why. Detroit, Sacramento here. Nothing looks that great for me, but Jalen Duren always an option, especially against a crappy team like Sacramento. He'll brick a ton of shots. Sacramento, Russell Westbrook at 10% owned. Nothing else really matters here, it seems. Houston, nothing looks that great to me. Clippers, Harden, and Kawhi coming up a good amount, it seems, but yeah, that's about it. Zubac is out there for this game, so you might get Brook Lopez starting, which would help out as a value option. You might also get Collins starting at the 5. Not sure how that goes. All right, let's go to Stokastic next. Let's run a sim. Let me refresh things here. All right, I'm logged in. We're good to go. They have not updated for the guys out yet, so we're just going to have to run things as it is, but we'll still get a read on top ROI lineups. And of course, you saw what my exposures look like with my projections overlaid on the Stokastic sim. Now you'll see what the data looks like without my interference. Not fully updated here, but we'll still get a good look at things. But again, guys, show some love for the next stage of our journey here. Hit that like button and subscribe. Again, I'm just one dude showing you my work as best I can across gambling on the NBA, across gambling on the NFL, on the Splash Play Pod channel. And I hope it adds value. All you're going to do is fade me. It still helps me out a bunch here to hit the like button, subscribe to ensure that I continue doing what I'm doing heading into 2026. And of course, join Stokastic, 15% off. Link down below if you want to check out their options. But use the promo code SPLASH when you sign up, and it gets you 15% off with that promo code. And of course, that's all the cheap stuff, all the expensive stuff, whatever packages you want. It's 15% off over at Stokastic. And last but not least, you want my data, or if you want to just join the Discord here, get into the mix, join down below. $5 to join when you are joining on a computer. If you join on iOS, it'll be a little bit more, but up to you if you prefer your convenience on there. But join the channel here. It does support what I'm doing, and it does also, if you join one of the higher dollar tiers, get you my data updated throughout the night. For slates even that I'm not playing, I do update the data for you guys. All right. So here's the shitty part. Stokastic loved KJ Simpson today. So actually, you know what? I'm going to filter him out right away. So I think he's going to be in some of these top lineups. And let's just go, does not contain Simpson. We won't get Bart Simpson in lineups either now, unfortunately. But Tyler Kolek, your top ROI lineup with stuff needed to be updated on Stokastic's end, so keep that in mind. Kolek, Austin Reeves, Kyle Kuzma, Jalen Johnson, Khalil Ware, Isaiah Collier, Sandro Mukulishvili, and Nikola Vucevic. That lineup will still be valid. Yeah, and all those guys, I like them, so I support this as a lineup too. Definitely there might be better value that opens up, and then you get those guys instead. But I like that lineup. That lineup works. Number 2, Tyler Kolek again, Josh Hart, Bryce Sensabaugh, Jalen Johnson again, Khalil Ware again, Isaiah Collier again. Kyle Filipowski makes this one again on the assumption that Markkanen and Yusuf Nurkic are out. And Austin Reeves makes it again. I agree with all these plays, which doesn't always happen with Stokastic and me. Number 3, Kevin Porter Jr., Austin Reeves, Keldon Johnson makes this one. Okay. Jalen Johnson, Nikola Vucevic, Isaiah Collier, Bryce Sensabaugh, Tyler Kolek. Very clear core it's giving you up top here. I was looking for a word that was just not coming to me. But very restrictive, I guess, core here up top. You're getting some pivots for guys like Keldon Johnson, but Jazz value, Tyler Kolek, Jalen Johnson, Vucevic, it's all in these lineups. Number 4, Kevin Porter Jr., Austin Reeves, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Mukulishvili makes it again, Khalil Ware makes it again, Collier again, Filipowski again, Tyler Kolek again. And number 5, Kevin Porter Jr., Kon Knipple, Kyle Kuzma, Bobby Portis, Khalil Ware, Tyler Kolek, Kyle Filipowski again, Josh Hart. Real samey lineups up top. That much I will give you. Let me unfavorite this. Because if I favorite it with KJ Simpson in, it's going to give me like endless KJ Simpson. And I just don't think it's going to be helpful for you guys. So I'm going to favorite all the lineups without KJ Simpson. But top ROI players overall, Isaiah Collier, slightly positive ROI across all of Stokastic's lineups. He's the only positive ROI player technically. So value plays, Collier and Kolek definitely coming up meaningfully here with Stokastic data. Bryce Sensabaugh, negative 1% ROI is at number 2. Don't worry that it's negative. The directional accuracy of what's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's sort of what matters more. But Sensabaugh is a value, 4,100 and shooting guard, small forward. He's coming up. Kyle Kuzma, negative 3% ROI. Khalil Ware at number 4. Josh Hart at number 5. Vucevic, 6. Porter Jr., 7. Tyler Kolek, 8. So really just all those lineups we saw here, those are all the top ROI players. Highest exposed players, again, accounting for no KJ Simpson because he will not be the same play that Stokastic thought when they did their data before. Tyler Kolek at 81% of lineups, Fields at 47. He was making basically every lineup of mine anyway, so I'm fully on board with that. Isaiah Collier, 65% exposure, Fields at 25. Without that KJ Simpson value, Collier looks like your second best guard value on the slate. Jalen Johnson, 59% exposure, Fields at 52. Jalen Johnson, definitely a strong play today, though not as overweight as I was getting in my data. Nikola Vucevic, 52% exposure, the Fields at 30. He's definitely too cheap. High total going against Atlanta, but you have a lot of bigs playing minutes for Chicago now, so I think that is also part of the concern. And Bobby Portis, 39% exposure, the Fields at 24, just out of Khalil Ware and Mukulishvili in terms of exposure here. Highest leverage plays. Isaiah Collier, 40% more in the field. Tyler Kolek, 33% more in the field. Nikola Vucevic, 23% more in the field. Bobby Portis, 15% more, and Khalil Ware, 14% more. No surprises here. Really tight core for Stokastic today. We love a nice tight core on our Sims. Anthony Davis, negative 5% leverage. You are barely playing him, but so is the field today against Denver on the back-to-back. Karl-Anthony Towns, negative 5% leverage, so a fade on him despite the situation with no Brunson today. Cam Spencer, negative 5% leverage, only 1% exposure, in the field's at 6. Josh Giddey, negative 5% leverage. You're barely playing him at all with the field at 5% ownership. And Kobe White, negative 4.4% leverage. So you're fading some key parts of the Bulls here in that, high total game versus Atlanta, but you are playing a lot of Vucevic, so okay. Let's do the single lineup sim next, last but not least. And let's try to do this with no KJ Simpson as well. Obviously, first guy in. Let's move to this screen. First guy in is going to be our little butthead, the exciting white himself, Tyler Kolek, heading into Minnesota. I have him projected for 30 fantasy points. Stokastic has him for 27. No matter what, he looks like the best value on the slate. Shooting guard here is Collier. Collier is not shooting guard, but we know the sim is going to like Collier, and I'm okay with him. So I'm going to put Collier in as a value. Shooting guard, let me check out my projection screen here. I also have to resort stuff. I think it's going to be... Oh, hold on. I think it's going to be Austin Reeves, would be my guess. The Austin Reeves, easily the option here. Josh Hart, I wouldn't mind. All right. Let's go Reeves. So Kolek, Reeves, Collier. We need a small forward. Small forward for me. Brandon Miller's going to look less good when we get LaMelo in the data set. Man, small forward, not a position I love. I like Michael Porter Jr. I don't know if I could afford him if I go up too much at other positions, but let's put in MPJ. It's just one of those guys, never really kills you on a slate, and that does hold some water for me. Let's see if we could still get in Jalen Johnson here at power forward. Leaves us 5K left per spot, basically. We need a value here at center. I mean, Khalil Ware is as close as we can get. Khalil Ware center. 2 spots left with 4,300 per spot. Let's put in Sensabaugh because we know he's a value option that the sim will like as well. And I think that'll allow me to save some amount of money. Then 4,600 left. Laravia, Clarkson, Wolf, Barlow. This is a terrible spot. Champagny, Barnes, Caruso. Caruso's going to look a little bit better when they update, but not right now. I think it's Clarkson. We'll just go double Knicks here. We could also go Fears. Mitchell Robinson. Let's go Clarkson. It's the team here. Tyler Kolek, Austin Reeves, Michael Porter Jr., Jalen Johnson, Khalil Ware, Isaiah Collier, Bryce Sensabaugh, Jordan Clarkson. Negative 0.2? Fuck you. No, yesterday their sim told me not to play Alec Pierce at captain. And you know what won fucking all the money yesterday was Alec Pierce at cap. Different sport. Come on. All right, let's not go Porter Jr. I think the sim's not rewarding us for that. Let's put Sensabaugh in at small forward. Let's go to a different pairing here. What would I approve of the most? Cat. We can get Cat in now at forward. The sim didn't like Cat either, but let's put Cat in at forward. Leaves us 4,800. Bones Highland, no. No, we're the same guys. You know what? Let's just let Stokastic complete the sim. Here, complete the lineup with 10% randomness. All right, goes Jaquez and Okongwu. All right. So the team that we're simming out now, Kolek, Reeves, Sensabaugh, Jalen Johnson, Khalil Ware, Collier, Jaquez, Okongwu. A very nice 69.8% ROI. We'll take it. We'll take it. Josh Hart over MPJ. That could also work, but whatever. This one works for Stokastic. I'll put in Josh Hart for funsies. because I do like Josh Hart enough. Josh Hart's, he's a guard? I got to put him in utility then. I feel like Josh Hart should not be a shooting guard. That man screams small forward. He's a 6K left. We know the sim will like Filipowski, Portis. I'll go Filipowski on the assumption that Markkanen and Nurkic don't play. Can this beat the 69.8% ROI? 95. All right, there we go. We'll go out on this one. So Kolek, Reeves, Sensabaugh, Jalen Johnson, Khalil Ware, Isaiah Collier, Kyle Filipowski, Josh Hart. 95% ROI, wins 0.3% of the time. It's that easy, guys. It's that easy. All right, guys, I'm going to give you guys my splash plays for the day. Before I do that, though, one last ask. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It matters a lot for small creators like me. It matters for every creator you enjoy on YouTube. But really, please help me out. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'm showing up here Christmas week. Only really taking one day off this week to give you guys the data, to give you the effort that I think we deserve here as a channel. So please help me keep growing this channel by hitting that like button and subscribing here. About 60% of you guys aren't subscribed watching right now. So let's get that number up here. I think 50-50 feels about right. Join Stokastic as well, 15% off. Use that promo code SPLASH. Only deal they have going right now is that one. And it's a good deal because it works on weekly packages, monthly packages as well. It's all 15% off. So click the link down below, check out all their options, and use that promo code SPLASH to get 15% off. And last but not least, join the Discord here, $5 if you want to join as a supporter. If you want to see my data updated throughout the night as well, join the Squirt Squad or the VIP tiers if you're an advanced user, because I cannot walk you through how to use CSVs and stuff. But a lot of you guys out there, the Squirt Squad tier will give you what you need here in terms of updated data throughout the night and all the Vegas totals, all that stuff. Everything that I update and push in there right before I build my own lineups. All right, splash plays for the day. Tyler Kolek, easy, number one. I think Jalen Johnson is one as well. It's a lot of ownership for him, but he just projects so much better for me, and he hasn't led me astray so far. So I think Jalen Johnson has to be another one. Austin Reeves has to be another one. I mean, really, right now, that looks like my three-man core. So, steal it if you must. But I think, that'll be decently owned as well, but I don't think the field's going to be as heavy on Reeves as I will be. It'll definitely be as heavy on Jalen Johnson as I am. Value, I do think Collier is a good value, even though better value might open up. But that game is late tonight, so if you have Collier in your lineup, you can kind of use it as a placeholder. So I think Isaiah Collier, a good pick to have. Khalil Ware, definitely a splash play. I think that's about it. Those are the main ones for sure. But this slate might get crazy. It really feels like I mentioned on the Discord, feels like a senioritis kind of slate where it's like I think a lot of guys might get ruled out late, especially these back-to-backs where they haven't been put out yet. Prepare for some weird stuff here. Things may move. But make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time here. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow this channel at Splash Play Bets on YouTube, at Splash Play Pod on Twitter, where you can see my NBA and NFL content. And if I don't see you guys for the Christmas video that I'm putting out tomorrow, enjoy your Christmas, guys. Hanukkah, I think, is over, so I hope it was a good Hanukkah for those of you folks out there celebrating that. I didn't say folks. I feel like I said that with a hard F. You folks out there celebrating, for you fine folks out there celebrating Hanukkah. That's better. But I appreciate you guys being here. I'm thankful for you guys this Christmas season in which we don't say what we're thankful for. But you guys make me merry. There we go. And good splash plays. Thank you for that. What happened with KJ Simpson is you're going to have LaMelo and Sexton both playing, so he's not the same situation. I'll be on Stokastic later today at 5 p.m., so tune into that. I think it'll be me and Josh Engelman. If you want to get more nuanced NBA takes, when the data does update later on today. So I'll see you guys there. Or if not, enjoy your Christmases, enjoy your holidays. Good day, good luck, bye-bye. And keep your eyes peeled for my Christmas video coming out at some point tomorrow. All right, bye, guys.